Welcome back, everybody, to the ECC, of course, for a break. We did see All Unified and Greasy play. It was a 3-0 to All Unified in the end to end off our first series of the season, at least. And now we're here for our second one, up to the Vortex and HD Esports, and Exeed will be taking to the pitch in this one. Almost full Italian matchup here for this. So exciting stuff, of course. My name is Faded, and in the booth with me this time is going to be Dennis. How are we today, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you very much, Faded. Yeah, you already mentioned on pretty much all Italian affair here between HG Esports and Cagliari Exceed. Cagliari Calcio Exceed, actually a team from the Serie A, the esports team in the Rocket League, of course, competing here in the highest division of the ECC, the Vortex division. A lot on the line here. Of course, the very first game of the Vortex is about to begin between two great teams actually, HG Esports and like I already mentioned, Cagliari Calcio Exceed. HE was actually third seed against the eighth seed of Cagliari Calcio Exceed. And HE Esports, if you have a little look, at the close qualifiers actually from the Vortex division, we see they haven't lost a single game in the 3 series they've played to manage to qualify for the Vortex division. Of course, also third seed, and of course, we all see in Calcio, Cagliari Calcio Exceed also, just winning there in the winners bracket, 3 wins in a row, but it was a little bit more tough for them. They lost, 2 games in 3 series. It's still a great performance from them, but definitely, HE Esports, it's a team to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, they had a perfect run through the qualifiers, 3-0 in all their series. So very impressive feat from those guys. I think it was a little bit more difficult for them, but in the end, they also made it through the winners bracket. So yeah, both teams making it through there. So yeah, let's first actually go through the lineups before we dive any further into this. Of course, on HD Esports, we have Alex837, Mazo, and Vesh. And on Cagliari Calcio Exceed, that's a mouthful, we have Re Ultras, Mike S, and Alex19. And now I'm realizing that it's going to be a pain in the backside of Cassie too, because we have 2 Alexes playing here, Dennis. So yeah, that's going to be fun for us casters at least to deal with. Now, it's of course worth mentioning both of these teams, I would say, yeah, top sides when it comes to the Italian Rocket League scene. Of course, you did mention that Exceed partnering with Cagliari, a football team in the Serie A, actually. So that is awesome to see. But I would actually be saying that HG are perhaps the favourites going into this, especially when you consider their very, very convincing qualifier run. And of course, when you take a look at individuals, I mean, Alex S37, he's one that sticks out to me, has some RCS main event experience, actually. From I think it was the fall split, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, got some experience there, but of course Exceed can't really count them out either. They made a good run of the qualifiers too. So yeah, could be a pretty decent matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a really interesting matchup. Like you mentioned, HG Esports have very, very solid team. Third seed as well, did really, really well in the close qualifiers of the Vortex division. And actually just, one of their players also having that RCS experience in the fall split. So definitely a very, very solid side there in HG Esports. And in the end, we're really going to see the first round of a league play is always, seeing how the other teams are going to play. But definitely, when you're going in as third seeds, top 4 will be making playoffs, and we'll have a big chance of getting the prize pool of, being either first place or second place. So definitely, HC Esports, they know that. But Cagliari Exceed, they also know, they made it here to the Vortex qualifiers. You do not want to lose your first game already. I mean, yes, you are 8th seed, but definitely you do want to get more out of this season than just an 8th place.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. And I mean, I wouldn't be the one to say that seeding means a whole lot in a lot of cases. Of course, it does give you a rough idea of the level this team are at. I would say actually Exceed can do better than 8th. I would maybe could see them like at their peak, maybe a mid-table team. But I mean, it's very stacked this 4-6. I wouldn't think they would be playoff contenders, but maybe they can set the tone for the rest of the season. One, of course, week 1. Um, every game is going to matter in the Vortex at least, every single series. So if they can cause an upset here, at least get a close game, that can pay dividends for the rest of their season here. So really, it's Exceed was a lot to prove here, but at the same time, no pressure on them. And, I think that's maybe more of a blessing for them that, no one, yeah, at least us analysts here, we don't expect a whole lot out of them, maybe. But for them on the pitch, they got no pressure. They may as well just go out and give them all and see what they can get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's definitely, seeding doesn't say anything. And, who knows? It's just going to be Cagliari just sweeping over HE Esports with a 3-0 in the first week of league play. Then HE Esports is like, well, then, we're third seed, but we just got beaten with 3-0 against Cagliari. Well, I'm not going to predict that, but, that kind of stuff, it can happen. Also here at the Vortex division, where teams are just so well and can play so well. And, probably these guys know each other already because, of course, the Italian scene, but both of these teams are actually from that Italian scene. So yeah, I expect the players know each other already a little bit. Maybe played a few scrims against each other already. So yeah, we're just gonna see how it will turn out. Definitely, the first series of league play is always, a little bit seeing how the other team is going to play, how well the other team is going to play, how well you are playing as well as your own team. So yeah, it's really going to be interested to see the Vortex division very first series about to get on the way. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting series.
Yeah, indeed. I just had a look at the results in the Italian National League, and it was actually HD Esports. At least
Ooh.
one of the previous results, they got a 2-0 sweep, best of three in that series. You could say it's questionable, but either way, it was HD Esports that got the most recent victory against these two. But now we're in a best of five situation, so maybe it could be different. But anyways, the teams are ready, so I think we will waste no more time and get into this one. Of course, HD Esports take it on the blue side and then Exeed on the orange. Let's see how it goes. Checking off game one of this series. Mike S and Alex837 on the kickoff. Been pushed out to the right side. Muzzle going to take this one by himself. Just chip it over one, and it will be Alex coming in for the shot. Real to save. And now Vesh trying to take it in. Fakes one, puts it into Alex. Good save from Mike S. Don't want to puts it right down the field. Real just is waiting. He has a shooting opportunity, but off the post. The counter-attacking chance there from Exeed, so trading opportunities to begin with now, looking to stabilise as half a minute has gone now.
Yeah, Cagliari, they're almost with the first goal, really, against a run of play. We saw HE Esports, flying start, but instead it will be Cagliari actually taking the first goal of this series and getting themselves in the lead.
Yeah, it will be those guys, Alex and team getting it from off the corner bounce, sent it into the net, and so yeah, after what was a good start from HD Esports, they got the early pressure, and now the Exeed, you can see the underdogs this one getting the first goal out of this one, and so that's something that's going to be pretty big for them. But of course, a lot of the game left to go. Sure, HD will look to come back to it. Alex takes a touch, Rialto's down the field, and he could perhaps follow this one up as well. Vesh though will sacrifice his life for that. As Alex puts it off the back wall. Here goes Mike S with the shooting opportunity. Whilst Alex, he was waiting on a line for that. Still, it sails into the net.
Well, Cagliari out by 2 goals. No one really going for that from HE Esports. A free shot from Mike S. Well, he's not going to miss that any day of the week. And now, I will say, Cagliari Exeed. What if they would actually, win this series? Maybe even with a sweep. Well, right now, really, HE Esports, we haven't seen anything from them as of yet. Really, a slumpy start from them. Definitely when Cagliari scored the third. Just 1 minute past. What is going on?
Mate, what a start this is for Cagliari Exeed, and Alex is just caught in such an awkward position, and we all just could capitalise off of a loose ball there. I mean, we were not expecting this, Dennis, but I mean, explosive start from Cagliari Exeed. You're 3-0 to kick things off in this game, and I must say, off of maybe a couple pretty daft mistakes coming out from HD Esports, we know they could do better, but for Exeed, they will take this. They've taken their chances, and all the credit goes to them, and now trying to put the pressure on once again here. We're just trying to take a touch back into Alex, but will be Veshed out on the ball here. Now trying to send to it. Real just takes it out, and they're going to put it forward. Had no teammate to find there, and Veshed free touch out to the side. But now here comes Mike S. Backboard touch. Real just turning into this one, and will actually be out of the defender. Veshed now with a weak touch. We will manage to get that 50-50, and now actually tried for a shot on the counter attack, but it's still 3-0 to Exeed, and honestly, I'm actually looking fairly comfortable in this one. I was expecting HD's to maybe have them on ropes as Mazel weak shot comes in. Realtras with a easy save on that one.
And well, it wasn't really a chance, but that definitely was almost in for HG Esports to start with the comeback. 3 minutes still, but yeah, 3 minutes to make 3 goals. 3 goals down is quite hard. Even you have plenty of time to play. It's still Cagliari taking control of the ball, taking control of the possession, really. And really, it's like Cagliari Exeed. They're trying to just play with our opponents right now. 3 goals up, you don't need to rush anything forward. Just try to control the play. And I think really that's what Cagliari are doing very well. Demo coming in the goal of HG Esports, no threat for them though. It's Cagliari Exeed, they just really holding the lead, very strong now. Halftime to be played still, but yeah, HG Esports not much they could bring in this game so far.
Yeah, actually, couldn't put it any better myself. I mean, this whole game, Cagliari Exeed, it just looked so calm and collected. They find the early 3-goal lead, but then it is looking, look, we can just slow things down and try keep control of the game, and if they've doing that fantastically so far, especially the double touch and backboard. But I mean, Exeed have things under control here. They looked very solid overall, and I must say this is the way you want to be playing. But as I say that, will be Vesh with a banger into the top left, and with 2 minutes left to go, 2 goals in this time period. The run of play would say maybe it's not possible, but now Vesh has finally broken that curse. So maybe this game could start to get a lot more interesting.
This could be the start for them indeed. 2 goals still to be made in 2 minutes. I mean, it's definitely possible. Definitely when this one goes in. It's not yet, but now it is Vesh. We'll get the second for HG Esports, and will we see a comeback here in game number 1?
Well, it's most certainly on. I'll say that, and straight for the kick off Alex. That was a pass touch, catches out the ender, and just Vesh to follow that one through. So just like that, HG Esports finding 2 goals such a short span of time. Cagliari, like I say, maybe starting to sweat a little now, as their lead has been reduced to just 1 goal. As now Vesh taking out, don't have it. His poor Riolch in defence again, but the ball is given away to him. Now Vesh coming in once more, really being the architect of this comeback, and it is completed here. All tied up. Alex comes forward, equalises in it.
What a start to this series. Not something I would have expected. 6 goals. Even Cagliari Exeed being 3 goals up. But while HG Esports, they show what they can. Brought back to 3-3 all each here. 1 minute 39 still on the clock. Well, it's an all-open game again. And HG Esports taking the momentum in the next couple of minutes. Well, in the next 1.5 minutes actually of this game number 1. Well, really, if there's one team to score, to maybe score the winner, it's definitely HG Esports, I would say now.
Yeah, for sure. They're the ones that have really crafted this comeback into this game. Find 3 goals so quickly, and now you can see Exeed, they're now starting to come into trouble commit, and the net is wide open. What is happening, Exeed? They were looking so good, and now this happens, Dennis. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, I was looking where the defenders are, but they were just both going for the ball there. 1 minute 10 seconds to go, and that's not really what you want to do when you 3 each there. HG Esports taking the 4th goal, and I mentioned, if there's a team to score now, it will be HG Esports having all the pressure, but this goal has been really gifted. No pressure at all from HG Esports in that goal, but just, a really gift there from Cagliari Exeed.
Yeah, honestly, it was, committing so many men forward like that. You can't be doing that, Exeed. And when I was crediting them for being so composed early in this game, what has happened to that? I mean, they looked so shaken after HG have managed to come back, and now it's HG, perhaps in unlikely circumstances, getting themselves into the lead now. And with just under 40 seconds to go, now they're back on the offense. Mazel getting it in. Alex 19 out to the side. Maybe a counter attack we found here. Mazel is putting him under pressure though, and it allows Alex to time in for the challenge now with 30 seconds to go, trying to find a 50-50 as Riolch to get it out. Can he follow it up? Looks to be no, as Mazel finds Alex to the side, but my guess, big challenge there. The net is open temporarily. Vesh comes in now. Can't find the second touch to follow it up though, and now it's Exeed desperately trying to get themselves back into this one. To double commit again. Mike Guest finds the backboard. Vesh up so quick as it intercepted, and Mazel hasn't opened it, but he doesn't need to score necessarily. Now Riolch puts it out to the wing. Mike Guest can't find it. It will be HG Esports, perhaps the most unlikely scenario possible there, Dennis, taking game 1.
Yeah, not something I would have expected there. When Cagliari were 3 goals up after 1 minute play, then I thought it was over the game. Well, still you have to play 4 minutes. HG Esports, they knew that, and well, they got back really, really well. 4 goals scored in a row. winning this game as well, and definitely it was a very, very good start to the Vortex division here in ECC Season 9. A great comeback from HG Esports. It definitely shows, why you still should be playing just everything you can. Even though you're 3 goals down, you still have 4 minutes to be playing, and well, they did really well in there, but this time, game number 2, Cagliari Exeed do not want to replay the game number 1. They do not want, to lose after they were 3 goals up. They had such a good start. But we can see, will they have a good start this time as well? Or will it be HG Esports this time actually having a good start?
I would actually say it's critical that Cagliari actually get a good start here, because if, you'll know it, if you've ever played a game, you had a solid lead like that and then you just throw it away, and to be fair, it was at least in part thrown away by Exeed. I mean, you've got to get yourself back into the game as quick as you can, and really they're the ones that have to open up the scoring in this game, because otherwise it's going to snowball. There's no way they can pull themselves back in it. So this first game, or the second game, the first goal is going to be so telling for the rest of this game and series, to be quite frank. As Alex19 trying to break out. Oh, and a double tap opportunity as there was a miss on the backboard, and now it'll be real just to get out of the side here, because Mike S has got Mazda to deal with as well. Forces it low, and maybe as a follow-up, Alex 37 gets it in. Will he have a shooting chance? It does register a shot, but it wasn't that good. Zavesh tries to take it high, and now we put out Mazda with a shooting chance. Mike S dives across, has to get it out once more. And one thing I'd like to mention for the previous game is that you would have saw from the statistics that HG Esports did outshoot Exeed in that game, and quite convincingly as well. And so you can see when Exeed had their shooting chances, they were managed to put it away more convincingly, and looks like they are going to continue that feat. As what I believe, yes, that was, it was a 4-shot in the game, to be fair, but even still, the conversion has been pretty decent when they actually had the chances. So it's 1-0 to them now.
Cagliari taking the lead, just like in game number 1, getting their first goal, but the game is not won. That's definitely something Cagliari will remember from the first game. They still have 3 minutes to play, and only a 1-goal lead. Well, maybe it's going to be 2 now. It is an open net, but no one really there from Cagliari to follow the ball up. It was open for quite a little bit, but in the end, no goal here. A great pass there from Alex, but it's not getting past the defenders of HG Esports. And we really see Cagliari, putting up the pressure, putting a lot of offense on the HG Esports, trying to create an offensive pressure. Do not let the ball go to your half and trying to control the ball. That's something, Cagliari did last game as well, but they just kind of lost it after HG Esports got the first goal, and then it was just really easy for HG Esports to just come back. Because, Cagliari Exeed, when they're just not controlling the ball, they just gave the ball away, and here it will be Alex getting the goal for HG Esports. 2 Alexes on the scoreboard now, 1 for Cagliari, and this time 1 for HG as well.
Yeah, Alex 837, off a wonderful pass from Vesh, places train to his teammate, and there wasn't much power in the shot, but not really necessary. Just has to slot at the back of the net, and so HG Esports getting their response finally in here. And I was going to mention, as that goal was about to go in, really, when we look back at that first game, when Exeed, they had that 3-goal lead, that 1 goal that they conceded really shake them up a lot, and it just seemed to all collapse from there. And for some reason I see a lot of, quite a number of teams actually have this same issue. If they have a lead, they concede once and suddenly it just all hell breaks loose. This time it doesn't seem to be the case, at least not yet for Exeed. They see that goal, but they're like, okay, well, let's keep on playing, and they're back in it. So I like that from them at least. They're not letting the last game repeat itself in that manner, at least, as they are still keeping the pressure on. Mike S, a passing opportunity with Vesh, very well read to get it out, and so less than 2 minutes to go. Dennis still tied 1-1, and I would still say this one's pretty, wide open here, but currently HG still seem to be at least marginally in the driver's.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, they already won that game number 1, and in this game number 2, all they gotta do is, is just scoring that 1 goal. But also, Cagliari also just 1 goal away from, potentially winning this game number 2 and equalizing the series. But I quite see Cagliari, they double quit quite a lot, and that's not really something you wish to see from this team. So definitely, they gotta work on that. Because, I think a goal in game number 1 as well, where there was just a double commit coming out of the Cagliari team. And in the end, they lost that game with 1 goal advantage, or 1 goal difference. So in the end, you know, they really got to look out for that here in the Vortex division. 1 minute to go. It's still equalized. Yet again, a double commit. So the third man needs to go for it right now. He wins the 50. Now there will be a follow-up off the crossbar. It's still in front of the goal of HG Esports. It's being brought back in front of the goal, but not really there to follow it up this time. And now HG Esports can finally clear it out. But there's definitely potential there for Cagliari Exeed. They can create some offenses. They created a lot of goals already in this series. But definitely, they just need a finishing touch in the upcoming 38 seconds.
Yeah, they do. It's being put in front of net, and I must say, like, that center pressure that Exeed had, they had no business having that, because, I mean, it was a double commit to even start it off, and you mentioned there, double commits, you know, those comms clearly not working out too well, and maybe position with a rotation as well, as that's a huge bump from Alex, and clears the road from Mazo to come in to find the second for Esports. The shot wasn't even that great, but he just had to find that touch, bait out the defender, bump the keeper, and there you have it. 2-1 to HG Esports, late goal as well, 20 seconds to go, and now Cagliari Exeed, they find themselves down once more, Dennis, and now off to kick off it as Mazo once again with possession. It's a wide open net. That may well be game 2 in the bag for HG.
Yeah, you hate to see it being a Cagliari player there. You know, from a kickoff, not really there following it up, and in the end, the ball is just getting shot on goal, both going for the corner boost, and no, definitely, HG Esports, they really deserved this game. I mean, it's not over yet, 60 seconds, but definitely the second goal, where Alex, you know, bumped the goalkeeper out of the way. Well, this is not going in. Alex with the shot, in the end, Fetch with the shot, getting it 3. We're getting it for a 3-goal difference, as HG Esports definitely close out this game number 2, and will bring themselves a match point going into game 3.
Yeah, it will be match point, and I must say, it was looking actually decent for Cagliari Exeed. I thought perhaps they could get themselves this game win here, but again, we just see it. You can see that late goal, and they just collapse. I mean, sure, 20 seconds is maybe a bit of an ask for them to get tied up again, but I mean, just all falls apart once more for Exeed, and it's painful to watch here as a caster, because you know they can do so much more, but in the end it's HG to take over the game eventually. They get themselves a 4-1 victory this time. It was much more convincing, but I mean, those couple last goals maybe, you know, maybe a bit more of a fluff you could say. You know, 4-1, I would say it was more of like a 2-1 was probably a more reasonable scoreline to describe this, but in the end, HG get a couple more consolation goals at the end and close this game out. It was still fairly convincing, though, with all credit to them. And now reverse sweep territory for Cagliari Exeed. And honestly, at this moment, the potential's there for Exeed, but I'm not convinced that they can actually make something like that happen, really.
No, definitely. You know, HG Esports has been the better side, and you know, Cagliari Exeed, I can see the potential. Of course, they made it here to Vortex division, and I can see why. They're definitely not a bad team, definitely no bad players in there. But you know, in the end, you just can't put some offensive pressure on the HG Esports side. Well, not enough, and then in the end, you know, HG Esports is just going to score one of those chances, and in the end, HG Esports taking those 2 games, the second one quite more comfortably than the first one. But this third one is, of course, a match point for HG Esports. They know what to do. Of course, game differential could matter at the end of the season. That's something HG Esports might know. Of course, 3rd seed, not guaranteed of playoffs. A lot of good teams there in the Vortex division. So, you know, maybe in the end, game differentials matter. And, well, HG Esports definitely want to get the clean sweep here.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one to start out on the offense. Here's Alex again, just bullying the Ultras. But Alex, 19, didn't look like he was going to get a great touch, but the ground pitch comes through. It is enough to keep them at bay. But yeah, again, you see those double commits coming out from Exeed, and it has been really worrying as the Ultras sends once the back ball. Alex does manage to get a touch on it. Now Alex on the other side of the pitch tries to chip in on that one. Coming towards the net, Ultras puts it to the side. Alex 19 turns on this one. Now trying to make a solo play. Ultras waiting in the center, intercepted by Vesh, and now Alex center Mazo with space, but just decides to check the ball towards the opposing side. This opening minute, as again you mentioned it, HG, they want to close out this game, but they've been having all that pressure so far, and yet again Exeed the double commit, and it will surely cost them as it flows into the net. Crazy my Alex 19 can't get back in time.
And yet another double commit. You know, 2 third mans, they're actually just going for the ball. Alex in the end, needs to rush back, but it's too late to get the ball out of the goal. The damage is too late. We ultra, and my guess, the big double commit from them. Not the first one for Cagliari, and that's definitely something they gotta improve on. Oh, that's a great bump there. Otherwise, my guess could have scored that straight from the kickoff, but will be staying. HG Esports 1 will make that 2 now, as Alex will make it 2. HG Esports are in the driver's seat now to win the series.
Oh, what was that? Shambles, in the words of Mikey, and oh, that is painful. Sort of has to be on that. There was 2 defenders and they both just fell, and jeez, that is painful to see from Exeed in that moment. And you can tell all game long there has been problems with whether it is the rotation, the communication, the chemistry between these players. It is not working at all at the moment. But as I said, was that an own goal? I will have to say that was, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Oh, yeah, it must have been. My guess, putting that down the field. And who's the culprit? Alex. Okay, fair enough. Good shot, but wrong net, mate. But you know what? Fair enough. 2-1 now. Exeed being handed a goal on a silver platter there. And yeah, at least spice the game up a little bit from Alex. And so now Exeed, with that, maybe they could try call us back into the game. But so far, been looking like a bit of a train wreck.
Yeah, well, definitely. If you have to get goals from the opponents making own goals, you can't score it yourself. Then it's yeah. Then the series is just not looking bright for you. You still need to create 1 goal, and I haven't really seen Cagliari being offensive or being dangerous in this game so far. And really, like I was already mentioned, this only goal they got is from that own goal, kindly gifted from the HG Esports defender. But there's no light at the end of the tunnel here. Of course, it's match point for HG Esports as they're up by 1 goal. And they just have all the control of the field, really, the control of the ball. Literally, they do what they want with the ball, and it's really Cagliari Exeed trying to do something against it, but every time they're just not in time. Maybe now they can create something as Alex has a little bit of space, getting it into the middle. A free shot there, but it will be saved by Alex. And half time to be played. Cagliari Exeed, the biggest enemy right now is the time, because really the time is taking for them now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's our first real opportunity of the game that was not generated by their opposition. But I must say, just the way Exeed are playing like that, it's almost as if they don't want to come back into this one, because I mean, you could, just by their body language, the way they're playing, it's so like passive and scared almost, and I think that may explain some of the double commits, because they're playing so far back that it's really 2 defenders of 1 thing, and it's like they're almost scared of what's going to come next. They need some more of that confidence in their gameplay to want to come back into this. And whilst time is their enemy in this one, I mean, they're almost a worst enemy at the same time. I feel like they could definitely just be going in and saying, all right, screw it, let's put everything into this and see what we can get out of it, and maybe that will reward them a bit more. But no, it just means that HG Esports have almost full control of this one. So with 90 seconds to go now, it is side of Exeed trying to play out of their own half, but HG still having none of it there. And there's finally a demo. It does open up a little bit of space. We see Alex challenging there, and that really nullifies the temporary advantage they had.
Yeah, definitely. I would expect some aggression there from Cagliari, actually. Definitely in the upcoming 70 seconds. It could be the last 70 seconds of the series. I hope they know that now, right? Because they're just not playing like it. They're playing really passive, like you mentioned. Finally, we can see some offenses now from them, trying to create an offensive pressure, just like they did in game number 1. They scored 3 times in a row in 1 minute. Where is that Cagliari from game 1? We haven't seen, that danger, that threatening from them in the past 2 games, and that's really sad to see, because of course they're just losing here with 1 goal. They can't do anything against it. They're just looking what HG Esports is doing. HG Esports is just controlling the ball, keeping the lead, and only 30 seconds to go, potentially in the whole series, or well, Cagliari need to score to stay alive in this series, but it's just not looking bright for them because they're just stuck in defense all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we does beg the question, where was this Cagliari Exeed from game 1? The answer seems to be absolutely nowhere. Rioltas on his own, his first touch was pretty poor, to be honest, and now Mike S on his own. What can he do here? Not much, it seems, as Alex drops it down into Vesh. He decides not to go. He knows he's going to be given away to him as desperation. Christopher Exeed and now trying to keep it up on 0 seconds. Basil with a block. Here comes Alex 837. Can he finish it off with style? No, Rioltas denies him, but the ball drops regardless. And HG Esports 3-0 win. They continue their winning streak against Cagliari Exeed. But as for the ECC context here, first win on the board and starting their season off in perfect fashion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned, that they keep winning, but literally they haven't won or they haven't lost any single game so far in the ECC, not in the close qualifiers and also not in this
Yeah.
series. It's actually unreal how good they are playing right now. Definitely one of the contenders to win Vortex or at least make playoffs because these guys are definitely a very, very solid team here in the ECC, sweeping over Cagliari Exeed. Definitely a very strong result from them and much more to expect from them in this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll touch on Exeed a little bit here because you saw in game one they had that potential, they had that very good start, and then it just kind of all came tumbling down from there. And I was thinking, well, game two is where they had to bring it back, and it looked okay, and then they didn't. And then in game three, they just looked totally lost, for being honest. So we can see for Exeed, they have the they have the talent, you could say, they have the skill, maybe have some close games these top teams, but they just lack what's needed to close these matches out, and that's what's going to be really important for the Vortex. So, yeah, for Exeed, bowing out 3-0 here, but of course, can try to recuperate for next week. Of course, they got Vizu Gaming in the next week matchup, so that is one to look forward to. Of course, Vizu definitely a solid side, but that's one where Exeed I feel like maybe have a better chance to get a victory. And H7T2 will happen next week as well, looking to continue their streak. So, yeah, it's a match that I would say could have been a lot more close from what we saw, but in the end, HG just took over that series and ran away with it.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely something I would have not expected. 3 goals in 1 minute in the first minute of the Vortex division. Cagliari, flying shot from them, but nothing to be seen after those 3 goals. Then it was just all HC Esports, making 4 goals in the first game. In the second game, well, I just don't really want to talk about that because that was just a murder for Cagliari. And then in the third game, in the end, they closed it out really, really well as well. So definitely HC Esports, they've shown that they're really capable of keeping a lead or even just coming back from a from losing with 3 goals. So definitely you could praise them for that. But yeah, definitely two great sides. HG Esports in the end, much the better side here in the Vortex division. But yeah, definitely Cagliari. They still have 9 matches or 8 matches of league play to still play. So definitely they can still provide some good stuff. But they really got to work on this double commits because it just did not look very, very good for them.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing about playing against a team like HG because they're going to punish those errors you make. And with double commits, that's something that really shouldn't be happening much in the Vortex here. But yeah, again, maybe the nerves has got to them. It's unusual to see because I played against this side a couple times before, and I definitely didn't see those kind of issues. But perhaps it's because HG had all the pressure. It really caused XC to make those kind of errors. But nonetheless, it's a thing that they can learn from. They can look back at those replays because it really showed where those weak areas are that they can work on in the future. But I think that'll wrap up this series here. Of course, a quick 3-game series. There are 2 sweeps on a day here, as our production producer here at Cherry was mentioning. And maybe it could be 3. We'll have to find out in an hour's time. Yes, it is an hour wait because this series was so bloody quick. It will be 3 Croats, 1 Serb, and Ascent Esports in the Champions Division coming up next on stream. So it will be a really long break. So perhaps go get your dinner if you've not already. And then come on back here at 8:30 CEST for our next series of the night. So yeah, we will see you guys back then.